This Huawei corruption charges. The U.S. government is charging the Chinese telecom giant with racketeering and conspiracy to steal trade secrets. The U.S. accusing Huawei of using its equipment to spy on foreign networks. Huawei responded to the charges in a statement. Here's what Huawei says. This new indictment is part of the Justice Department's attempt to irrevocably damage Huawei's reputation and its business. Racketeering enterprise that the government charged today is nothing more than a contrived repackaging of a handful of civil allegations that are almost 20 years old. Yesterday, I spoke about those allegations, and I spoke with Huawei Chief Security Officer Andy Purdy about exactly this issue, talking about how the company has settled with all these other companies because they stole intellectual property. Watch this. Why did you settle with 10+ companies in terms of intellectual theft? Why all the settlements? Motorola, Cisco, Ericsson, across the board, American companies have said, Microsoft, we had the former CEO on this program saying that the theft of intellectual property from China costs the company tens of billions of dollars every year. Why all the settlements? And then those settlements include a cease and desist letter to those CEOs saying you cannot discuss what just went on.
But Maria, let's be fair. Let's look at the history of that industry, the telecommunications mobile industry. Let's look at the number of lawsuits. I don't need to look at the history of the industry, Andy. I'm looking at Huawei Technologies, the open doors that allow the data to go back to the Chinese government, and I'm looking at the intellectual theft that Huawei has done on all of these telecom companies. What is... That's right. And here you go. Joining us right now is former Nassau County, New York prosecutor, criminal defense attorney Randy Zelen. Randy, it's good to have you this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Front page of the Journal, Huawei faces racketeering charge. Exactly what I asked him about. How do you see it?
Well, first of all, to your point, if the question were answered honestly, the answer is simple. We bought silence. We bought confidentiality. We probably got some assurances that no one had gone to the government to pursue criminal charges. That's why those settlements were entered into. What is going on right now? We have a very effective and powerful tool. It's been called the equivalent of a thermonuclear device. It's called the RICO statutes. And what it does, it allows the government to dismantle a corrupt organization. Once upon a time, it was used to dismantle organized crime, the mafia. It has expanded. We'd like to think that Huawei is the largest telecom equipment manufacturer in the world. No. The allegation is it's in the business of fraud. It's in the business of stealing, bribery. It just so happens it's got to make something legitimate. It rips off banks and defrauds banks by saying, we don't do business with countries we're not allowed to. They need something legit, and that legit is allegedly making telecom equipment. No, it's a factory of fraud.
Spot on. Digging.
Where does this suit go, you think, Randy?
Well, remember, we have a criminal indictment. And what is so powerful, again, about the RICO statute, you're talking about the penalties. Well, aside from people going to jail, you've got forfeiture. Take lots and lots of money. Then you have the parallel civil litigations where all of these U.S. companies that have plenty of money to pay lawyers, if they win, what do they get? They get triple damages, treble damages, and they get their attorney's fees. This is how you put corrupt organizations out of business.
Yeah, but look at how successful Huawei has been about getting its infrastructure all over the world. Look how they've, said to African countries, oh, don't worry, we're going to set up your infrastructure, Huawei infrastructure for free, and then you can owe us the money. Same thing with countries in Europe. Right now, you've got countries like Germany, the UK.
UK's got to deal with it.
They're radioactive, but now that they're under indictment, they are radioactive. And certainly no legitimate company in the United States will go near them, if for no other reason. Why would I do business with a company that's going to pay its people to steal my stuff?
But they're in 170 other countries. That's the challenge here. And that news from the UK is damaging for the U.S.-UK relationship for that reason, which is that the American government has said repeatedly this is going to be a very big problem for you to introduce Huawei technical components into your networks.
We can only do what we can do, and we can only police our people. Randy? Is it enough? You know something? I don't care how big Huawei is. RICO, forfeiture, people going to jail, cooperators where other people may end up going to jail. Deterrence at some point is going to be important and kick in.
What about the fact that Huawei is a big customer of a lot of telecom companies in the U.S.? So, you know, when Huawei is under pressure and is unable to buy from Cisco, buy from Qualcomm, those stocks went down. Some investors were concerned about that. Maybe over time they get a different carrier, but there's that as well. There's an impact to U.S. companies.
Well, certainly it's going to open up the doors to new roads of competition. And remember something, in an ode to James Spader, the blacklist. These companies all now, as I understand it, have until April 1st to find somebody else to do business with, because you ain't doing business with Huawei.
I'll tell you, President Trump's been so tough on China. It's really changed the conversation around it.
Suffocating.
Randy, thank you.
Thank you.
Great to get your insights this morning. Randy Zelen.